Good evening, everyone. This is Anne Marie with the Trading Book, and we are looking at the trade calendar for our swing trades that we've had in motion over the last week. This is a new service that I have going up for folks, and what we have are some really nice positions, low risk, low exposure, really nice in and outs, $1,000 for the week. If you are looking to build your portfolio in a nice, easy way, or if you have time and are able to lever up, then this is a really nice trading event. A lot of the things we are doing are short call spreads, short put spreads, iron condors, and 1 or 200 shares short or long. No short shares. All of them long. And so what we are doing is really building a nice low risk way to increase your portfolio. And so this week we made $1,000 on what we closed, and you can see that over here from our closure perspectives. And we have several trades in flight for next week, and I'll give you an update to see how those are going at the end of the week. So let's first take a look at SPY. We have short call spreads here that we took out right around this sell zone, took part of them off into this area, and we're still holding them, and they are quite profitable. They're doing very, very nicely. We closed the first group for about 40% profit, and we're going to let these guys expand a little bit into August, a little deeper. I think we have a bit of a whipsaw action that goes. That, along with theta, we're going to be in great shape to close this position and collect the 50% return that we wanted to over the couple of weeks. We have some really nice divergent momentum telling us that we ought to have a little bit of a sideways action event. So there's going to be something else going on here in the SPY for us in the short order. All right, the next one we want to take a look at is Apple. Apple, we put an iron condor on, and this one we put in here down at this base, which is very nice. We got this right on this edge as we came into the open. It looks really, really good. My thought is that it's going to be quite a good trade. And it's going to be quite a good trade because I believe that Apple's going to be a little bit range bound. It's going to be grossly affected by the trade deal things, but holding fairly well. I just think it has trouble on the upper edge. So we're probably going to leg out of this particular formation as price action moves along. But you can see on the way up, not a ton of volume here. So people are fairly tentative about what's going on in general for Apple. But that's why we've got that Apple trade sitting there. The next one is a longer term trade. And this trade is in the battery space. It's got a lot of motion. You know, a lot of folks are looking at semiconductors, but we went short AMD and had a remarkable week last week because we pulled it in a really nice space. And if folks left it on, it actually did a little bit better as the week continued, because I think there's more trouble in the semi space that people are considering. I think it's fairly overbought. It's got to shake out just a little bit. But what we are looking at is a 3-year low bouncing into areas we haven't seen in 3 years, and we held those levels fairly close to 6 months. So this is going to be either a sideways action event or something that allows us to bump right up into the 26, 27 area, and from that zone, that's a 20% run for this bounce. So we are looking for this area to hold. We've also got good technical divergence. I got in at 24 and then added some at 23 and some change. And so we are still here in this early buy zone area. And we're looking at it from a buy zone simply because it's got motion that is telling us, hey, here's where you buy, and you look up into the resistance area and you're going to sell there. So we're going to remove part of this off in legs, right? First portion we take out at 25, it comes back to 23 and holds the area. We're going to add back to it. This is going to be a very nice position in the long run. I think it's really going to be a fair trade, especially since it's holding good regions of support in general. The next one we want to take a look at also is DBA. Now we've got we have boots on the ground next week from hedge funds that want to know what in the world is going on with this chart, because it was supposed to be, we're supposed to have terrible yield, and then all of a sudden we have a good crop rating. Now this motion here is one, because the dollar has been on the rise, and two, the trade war has really affected this, and it really is down on its edge. This is the absolute new low that this chart has been. It's never been lower, so it's fairly close to the bottom. Okay, now, could it drop a little bit more? Yes, but what I suspect happens is that I think there are a few shenanigans around here, and so big, deep drop. It's going to bounce a little bit and then have another big fade, right? Here we are in this August, same kind of business. It tries to bounce a little bit. All through September, it runs for the downside, and then come October, crop season coming through, we start getting these good reports. I expect it to look exactly like this. Okay, if we take a look to the left, we're going to see that August and September usually have a pretty tough time with a little bit of a pullback. This September run looked fairly nice, but really, in general, this chart has some issues that occur because of crops and the like that come into play in this space. You can see August and September normally are down. We come into October and then, people can pull that forward. So we're looking at that same sort of thing for DBA. I haven't put the position on yet, but I'm fairly sure what we'll be able to do is buy some puts or sell some calls, or end up having something that gives us a frontline support action that we can leg out of, and we would think about doing something like an iron condor. The problem is how the spreads go in general, right? How these spreads perform in general are going to be very, very interesting. We might end up taking a look at all puts that turn into all calls at some juncture. All right, so that's that. The next two we want to look at, really, we've got Disney. Where's Occidental? Occidental has been doing really kind of tough. This one has been doing fairly poorly. And the reason is because of what's going on with this chart. This chart is really having a very tough time, and it should come into broadline support, which is why I have a relief bounce here. I also have technical divergence, so I'm going to have more upside pressure on the horizon, but I'm looking for a bounce that has trouble. So at the first pass into these edges, we have an iron condor right now. The short call side is worthless. We're going to take that off on Monday, and we're going to let the short put side press all the way up into these edges of congestion here, at which point we'll pull it off. This is also going to be fairly lucrative. I also have some long shares, just 100 shares moving here. I'm not here to show folks how you can do millions and millions of dollars in motion, but all you have to do is leverage this information up. We're doing 2, 3, and 4 contracts or spreads at a time. And this is very manageable, really straightforward, and overall a very nice way to trade. Okay, so, whoopsie, sorry about that. All right, last one we'll take a look at is Disney. I think Disney's in really good shape. I've added twice to this chart. Once I got in at 34 and some change and got out at 37. Once I've gotten in at 133.17 and we've got out at maybe 144.80, 134.80. Now the chart has some bull put spreads attached to it that are very, very nice. This chart's also going to do, this chart's also going to do very well at the 140 marker, into the 140 marker, and then it's going to have some trouble. They've taken on a lot of debt to bring their channel up and running, and so I don't really see that the market's going to have any kind of great big headwinds or tailwinds for that matter, and so we're going to stay a little bit range bound. Next week we'll be looking at more of the XLE. We'll be looking at Nvidia, Netflix. We'll take a look at whether DBA is ready to go. We will review AMD and cyber and maybe a couple of other things, but I don't want to have us have too many trades afoot because I am taking these trades with you and we are really trying to manage the portfolio properly. All right, take care everybody, and I will see you soon.